Hi Kirby fans, so today we're going to be doing a car upholstery clean and we're going to be running the Dyson against the Kirby. So what we'll do is dive straight into it. And don't forget, everything you use my videos, there are links in the description below for the best place to get your Kirby products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Right, so today we're going to be running the Kirby against the Dyson with a car clean. We're going to be cleaning the upholstery and cleaning the floor and see how I get on with this Dyson. Again, I'm going to be using the dirt meter and I'm going to be using the zip brush with the Kirby. And it's going to obviously going to reduce the airflow. I'm not going to spin the zip brush that good, but it will give it a little bit of agitation, probably about as much as what the Dyson does. So what we'll do is dive in and see what two models are running against each other. So today we're going to be running a Dyson DC25 against the Heritage 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using an old-fashioned dirt meter, which is going to reduce the power of this Heritage 2. As you know, it does lower the speed a lot. We're going to be using a zip brush. I don't expect it to spin that fast. They don't spin that fast when you've got a dirt meter connected, purely because you're reducing the airflow considerably. But it should bring it down to the same stats of this Dyson DC25. Now with the Dyson DC25, we're going to be using the hose. I'm not going to be using this extension pole because it's going to obviously reduce the airflow. So I'm going to make it a bit fairer. I'm going to be using the hose that I totally hate, and it's the extendable hose on here. And I've got a turbo brush that came with it. It has been fully serviced by the previous owner. It's got new filters in it. The bin is fully clean. So as you can see, we'll just open it. How do you do it? So it's like that. And it's spotless inside, as you can see. There's nothing in there whatsoever. Totally empty. Okay, so we'll put that back on in a second. I'm going to vacuum first with the Dyson, which I love using Dysons, as you know. And then we'll finish it off by pulling some pads from every spot in the car that we've gone over with the Dyson, and we'll go over it with the Heritage 2, using the dirt meter with a lot lower airflow than it would have when it's using a bag. So what we'll do is dive in and start cleaning this car. Right, so we're going to vacuum it with the Dyson DC25 first. This car has been vacuumed for about 2 months, so we're going to see how much dirt it leaves in those seats, and then we're going to attack it with the Legend 2 with the dirt meter. So what we'll do is dive in, have a look what dirt's in the car, have a look at the state of the seats, and then we'll start vacuuming it with the Dyson DC25. Right, so the passenger floor well, a little bit of grime down the sides of the seats. The seats are a little bit dusty, but it's not too bad on the passenger side. So we'll just zoom in the back, have a look at the back, and then we'll go around to the driver's side and see what she looks like. So back seat wise, you've got your general dirt that's been trodden on and off the mats. Seats are pretty clean. We have had a child seat here, so that's not too dirty. So hopefully the Dyson should do a good job on this with its upholstery tool. So as we look at the driver's floor, there's just your general mess there, a little bit down the side, and this is probably going to be the worst seat for dust. Like I said, it's pretty dirty. It's not filthy, but there is a lot of dust and a lot of MDF dust in there. So what we'll do is start with the passenger side and finish off with the driver's side. Right, so to make it fair, I'm not going to use that extension poles. I'm going to use this extraction hose, expandable hose, which I have loads of fun with. If you haven't checked out the video 5-day challenge without a Kirby, I'll put an archive of link into that. Make sure you check it out at the end of this video. So we're going to vac the floor first of all with the upholstery tool, and then we'll go with Dyson's version of a zip brush or turbo tool. Right, so we're on the final part of the car with the Dyson, and having this monstrosity in the way is a pain. Yes, I could stick it the other side of the car, but then it's going to have a lesser advantage because I'm going to be stretching this hose and it's going to reduce the airflow. Obviously the Kirby's going to have like a 4 or 5 foot hose, but we've got a lot more agitation and suction with that Kirby, I reckon, compared to the Dyson. But a lot of people reckon that these ball Dysons are the best, so I'm giving it a go, but I'm totally knackered. So jump in, get this vacuumed up, see what the Dysons have picked up all together, and then we'll bring the Legend 2 out with the dirt meter and see what the Dyson has actually left behind. Right, so the DC25 is back together. I'm going to empty the bin and see what it's picked up, and then we'll go around and see what a decent job it did, and we'll get the Legend 2 out and see how much dirt we can pull out with the dirt meter. Just disconnect the bin, and we'll just tip it out on the back of this mat and see what she pulled out. Got a bit of hair, we've got plenty of grit and grime, so it has pulled quite a lot out. Not that I really want to be messing with this. A lot of it gets stuck in that bin. That's another issue with these type of vacuums, you've got to clean them bins out all the time. So we'll get straight in the bin and then we'll get the Legend 2 out and start pulling some pads. Right, so we've got the Heritage 2 set up with the hose. Now the advantage is the portability of the Kirby. You can actually put this on the seat. I'm not walking around, I'm not trying to struggle with it in the doorway, trying to use it with that hose. Yes, I could have used a Dyson that was portable, but again, the Kirby's an upright, so I'm just showing that you can use portability, and it doesn't take up any room whatsoever. It'll just sit on the seat while you vacuum the rest of the car. So we'll start by the passenger side, pull some pads off the floor, one off the seat, do the back seat with a pad, back flat floor, and then the driver's seat and the driver's floor, and see what this amazing Dyson has left behind. Right, so you can see we've got the dirt meter on and we've got clean pad in there. So I'm going to be using clean pads. I'm going to be using the hose. I'm not going to be using the crevice tool, and I'll be using the zip brush from a G7, which is sort of the equivalent of what you would have got with the Heritage anyway. Right, so as you can see, that's not spinning as fast as it would because we're using the dirt meter. So we get a bit of agitation, probably the equivalent as what we was getting with agitation with the Dyson DC25. But we're going to pull the pad out and see what we've got. Right, so this is just from the floor. So there's a few hairs, a bit of sand. You can see that the carpet's come up a lot nicer than it was with that Dyson DC25. So now we'll do the seat. So I'll put a fresh clean pad in. So again, we've got the Kirby on the back seat out the way, clean pad. So we'll start her up and do the seat. Dirt meter, and we've only gone over it lightly, and again we've got rubbish, a bit of grit. There's a bit of material there from the grit that's rubbed it, but there's not a lot of agitation coming from that zip brush purely because we're not using a bag, we're using the dirt meter. So I'll put that on the seat. Let's put another clean pad in. So what we'll do is do the floor area, and then we'll pull the pad, and then we'll do the seat after. And we'll see what we've got on the pad. So this is the dirt meter. Got quite a bit actually. So I'll try and open this gently. I don't want it spilling everywhere. But we've got quite a bit of sand, grime, and we'll just put that there. So you can see that's off the floor. And we'll put another clean pad in. So this one, we're going to pull the seat and see what we can get off this back seat. So again, got another clean pad. this is the pad off the back seat. Now, if I only give it a quick blast, we didn't go as much over it as we did with the Dyson. But again, we've got dirt and grime that it's missed again, and fluff, and a lot of dog hairs. Right, so finally put a clean pad in, and we'll go over the front seat and the front floor and see what's left behind. So from the front seat, you can see we've pulled quite a bit of fluff, grime, and now we'll just finish off by doing the floor. Final pad, and there you have it. Now don't forget, everything you use in my videos, there are links in the description below for the best place to get your Kirby products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. From that video, I had a bit of a struggle with this. Pulling that hose was just a pain in the backside, to say it mildly. At least with the Heritage, I could put it down to a portable and sit it on the seats, as you've seen. Now, we have pulled quite a few pads, so we'll quickly go through them and see what this Dyson actually left behind. Yes, there's going to be a little bit of dirt, but I think it did pick up quite a good amount, which is seen when I tipped it out of that mat. But we'll see what it left behind, and we've only used a zip brush with reduced airflow by using a dirt meter. So let's zoom in and have a look at the pads. We'll start with the first three pads. This was the front passenger floor well, and you can see we've got dog hairs, a lot of sand and grit. So it did leave quite a bit behind. It did have problems with our hose reaching in certain places, but we did use the zip brush, and we did probably use the hose occasionally with the Kirby. This is all off that one section of flooring. I didn't clean any mats with it. This is all off the floor of the car. Then we went to the front passenger seat, so it's not too bad. I think the Dyson did a reasonable job. I mean, there would have been a lot of dust and sand in that seat, so we've got a few bits of fluff, really, not much sand and grit. So the upholstery tools seem to work quite well on that. And then we move across to the rear passenger floor. Now here it missed quite a bit. We've got sand, fluff, dog hairs again. So again, the agitation with that turbo tool from the Dyson isn't that good. It wouldn't touch some of the hairs, they were still in the carpet. Looks like what we got, it's definitely sand because you can see it glistening there. And we'll move across to the final two pads. Right, so the final two pads, this is the back seat. So again, we've got a bit of fluff, a few dog hairs. There's not a lot on that back seat. Like I said, it was covered by a child seat, so there's not a lot in it. And then as we dive over to the driver's seat and the floor, you've got a lot of dog hair, a lot of sand and grit that the Dyson just couldn't touch. It just wouldn't touch it at all. It got most of it up, but it didn't get it all up, as you can see. But don't forget, everything you use in my video today, there are links in the description below for the best place to get your Kirby products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Right, so what we used was the Dyson turbo tool. This had barely any use, and the agitation, you could see the agitation on those seats when I was using it. And I thought it was going to be really well. I mean, it did pick up quite a bit, as you've seen when I emptied that bin. So using that Dyson upright, it's just a nightmare because you've got to have it by the door. You don't get much of an extension lead, and just to use that hose, you know, to me they're a pain because they just stretch and they reflect. I mean, Kirby have made one. I have got a review coming up on the Kirby one that I've got, and my opinions of that. As well as that, we've got the turbo brush that I used with the Kirby, this wasn't spinning that fast purely because we were using a dirt meter. You was getting a little bit of agitation, but I'd say you was probably getting more with this than you was with that. But it did quite a good job. As you saw, it picked up all the hairs off the floor. There was a lot of debris that was missed by the Dyson behind the seat as well. So when I vacuumed the floor, there was a lot of debris that it missed. I couldn't get nooks and crannies. I didn't use the crevice tool with the Kirby, as you saw. I just used the hose and I used the zip brush. That made a lot more flare out and a lot more of a fair playing field as far as I'm concerned. Also, as you've seen, there's a lot easier when you can reduce your Kirby down to a portable vacuum and you can just sit it on the seat just to get in to vacuum that car. You haven't got to stand it outside the car. It's a lot easier when you just sit on a seat and get around with that hose. My only advice here is if you're going to vacuum your car, don't use the dirt meter. Have the bag connected, you'll get a lot more suction and a lot more airflow in that Kirby, and it will pick up a lot more dirt. And as well as that, using the zip brush, you do need the bag connected to get that airflow and to get that agitation from that zip brush. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate on this video. I don't care. As you know, I'm giving Dyson a go, and we will be giving that Dyson a go as an upright and see how it goes against an older Kirby in a sand battle. So make sure you check that out when that one airs. So again, those who are new to the channel, if you find you get value out of this content and contemplate showing support by slapping that subscribe button, it's absolutely free. Ding that bell for notifications so you don't miss any good episodes. Give us a big thumbs up and comment down below. I will reply to the comment, and if you like a comment, I'll pin it to the video. So what we'll do is cut to any bloopers, and I'll catch you in the next one.